Welcome back. Thom Hartmann here with you. 3 countries now have apparently offered asylum to Edward Snowden, the NSA whistleblower. One of the more interesting little factoids, bits of trivia, although I haven't looked on the Financial Times website today. The last time I looked was last Wednesday, just before we left for the 4th of July holiday. But the Financial Times have been quite consistent in always referring to him as a whistleblower, whereas American corporate media was quite consistent in always referring to him as a leaker. And we had on our program last week the fellow who was arguably the leaker of the Pentagon Papers, Daniel Ellsberg, and he talked about how he went down, turned himself in after 2 weeks after he had published his papers in the New York Times, and was released by a judge on his own recognizance at the bail hearing. The judge said, well, I'm going to set bail for X, $10,000 I think it was, but I'll release you on your own signature. You seem like a fine, upstanding young man, or words to that effect. Not quite the way that Edward Snowden probably would have been dealt with. And let's go to a real expert on this. James Bamford is with us. He's a journalist. He's author. His latest book, The Shadow Factory, the Ultra-Secret NSA from 9/11 to the Eavesdropping on America. Although, let me tell you, I have read several of James Bamford's books, and this guy is a very prolific author and really, really writes brilliantly and has produced a lot of great stuff. You can see it all over at Amazon.com/James-Bamford. That's with an M, Bamford. James Bamford, welcome back to the program.
Oh, thanks, Tom. Good to be there.
Edward Snowden felt that he had to leave the United States in order to talk about what he perceived to be crimes committed by the United States. How is that, in your mind and in your experience? I mean, you're a reporter on this issue, or on this broad area of how the national security industry, as it were, or agencies, react to whistleblowers. You were one yourself, arguably, or certainly a reporter. What was your experience? And you've been doing this for a long, long time, for several decades anyway. I've been reading your books. And so I'm curious what your experience has been and how that has changed over the years, or what your guess is of how Edward Snowden would have been treated in the 70s or 80s or even early 90s versus today.
Well, looking at it, it's probably, there wouldn't be a Edward Snowden back in those days. So we were very lucky just to get a Daniel Ellsberg. But there were very few national security whistleblowers until after 9/11, when the Bush administration began turning everything inward on the American public and so forth. So since that time, since the Bush administration, there's been more whistleblowers than I've ever seen before. And at the same time, there's been more crackdown on whistleblowers by the Obama administration than ever before. So I think there'd be a much harsher approach to any whistleblower during the Obama administration right now than there would have been in the 70s.
Okay.
So right now you got Bradley Manning, who basically had to go through some torture, standing naked in a cold cell for a number of weeks or months or however long it was. That's not exactly what I would call light treatment.
Yeah. Well, and what you say raises a number of questions. The first is, do we have the Obama administration famously has prosecuted more people under the Intelligence Act? What is the name of that law?
Well, they prosecuted. You mean the
Espionage Act?
Act?
Yeah,
Oh,
they have prosecuted more people under the Espionage Act than every president in history combined. So is that because there have simply been that many more whistleblowers, that the excesses of the George Bush administration, which go way beyond anything, in my opinion, frankly, and I'd love to hear yours, that Nixon, in his fondest dreams, I mean, his crimes were fairly narrow gauge compared to what has happened since George W. Bush's administration. Do we have more prosecutions simply because there's more whistleblowers?
Well, you have more whistleblowers, national security whistleblowers now than I think you've ever had before. But you've also got more prosecutions, so the two can go together. But also it's the fact that the Obama administration has just taken this as one of their main goals for the administration to prosecute whistleblowers. But it does go back quite a ways where you've got previous whistleblowers, but there's never been this sort of draconian approach to whistleblowers that this administration has taken.
Yeah. I mean, the Deep Throat, Mark Felt, went to his grave without ever seeing a police officer, to the best of my knowledge. So where are we at, James Bamford, in this? I mean, to what extent is this entirely appropriate versus beyond the pale, or somewhere in the spectrum between the two?
Well, I think the reason you're having all these whistleblowers is because you get people that learn how the American government is supposed to operate growing up in school and so forth, and then they get in and they see that everything is different. It's all operated in secret, and it's going against what they learned in high school and college, and just growing up in this country. They learned that those principles that they assumed were pretty much written in stone don't apply when it comes to certain agencies like the NSA. And so I think that's what's caused a lot of these whistleblowers. I've interviewed numerous whistleblowers over the years, and particularly in the last few years. And that's pretty much been the motivation. They felt that there was a big disconnect between what they learned growing up about this country and what it stood for, and what they found when they actually got into the secret rooms of the intelligence community.
Would it be reasonable to describe them as disillusioned patriots?
Well, exactly. Very disillusioned, and their disillusionment is to the extent that they're willing to sacrifice largely not only their careers, but perhaps their liberty by revealing this information.
Right.
I interviewed Bill Benny last year, who was a very senior official at NSA, the civilian equivalent of a general. He'd been there almost 40 years, created the entire NSA eavesdropping system overseas, and then when he saw that it was being turned inward on the American public, he quit and told me, pretty much what was going on for my article in Wired. The big difference was he didn't leak any documents, and that's where you have where Edward Snowden is on the run now, because it's very rare that you actually get somebody from NSA to actually walk out and leak documents.
Right, so he's both a whistleblower and a leaker, arguably.
Well, he leaked documents, but I consider him a whistleblower because he's blowing the whistle on illegal programs.
Right.
But in order to, the problem is that you have other people that said pretty much the same thing. Bill Benny talked about intercepting metadata and internet communications and all that. And then the NSA came out and denied it and said, "Oh, we don't do those kind of things. We just we don't do surveillance on Americans." And what that does is encourage somebody who's in there to say, "Well, look, if I just go out and I blow the whistle, the NSA is just going to deny it. The only way to really prove it is to actually leak the documents."
Right, which is what Snowden did. James Bamford, always great talking with you, sir, and keep writing the brilliant books. Your most recent, The Shadow Factory, the Ultra-Secret NSA from 9/11 to the Eavesdropping on America. Thank you again for being with us, Mr. Bamford.
My pleasure, Tom.
Always great talking with you. We will be back in just a moment.